Hey, I'm Christopher McClure from poise.us. That's poise.us. And I'm going to teach you a meditation, very powerful meditation called spiral sweeping. And I'm going to teach it here in just a few minutes. So, first, I want to just tell you how I learned it. Way back in 1981, I went to a 10-day meditation retreat in Northern California. It's Vipassana, Buddhist Vipassana meditation called sweeping. And the basic idea is that you sweep your mind through the body, scanning for sensation. And before I had attended that retreat, I was very involved with breath as a meditation object. And so when I went to that retreat, um, I got it, it basically changed my world, you know. Um, but I had a hard time letting go of breathing as a meditation object, and I kind of struggled with that. As after I left the meditation during the meditation retreat, and then when I went on with my life, I still continued it, but I still had trouble. I kept combining it with respiration, and I kind of thought that that wasn't the right way to do it. So fast forward, as I did this meditation, I discovered sort of a subset of sensation, which is pulse. Um, and you can feel sensation any place in your body. You can feel pulse any place in your body. You can feel respiration any place in your body. So then I kind of stopped meditating on sensation and just focused on respiration and then breath along with that. And then many years later, actually just probably about a year ago, I came back to sensation, realizing the value of sensation. I had a root canal, this tooth that was really hurting, and it was really hard to deal with the pain, and and I realized that by going in there and feeling the sensation, it was the only way I could have some relief from that, and it just made me realize how important sensation is. So I came back to the meditation. I started doing it with the local group, and but I was really trying to keep it just focused on sensation. And in one of the question and answers after a sitting, um, I've learned that it's okay to include respiration in that, and I eventually added in pulse, and so now the practice for me and the practice that I'm going to show you involves actually those three elements plus two more. And another aspect of the meditation is the way you move. You're basically moving your mind through your body, right? And you want to cover. You don't want to miss any part of your body. And there's lots of different ways you can do that. It's really kind of personal. And after a long time of trying different methods, what I found was, for me, the best method was to you start up at the top of the head, and you start in the middle, and you right in the middle, like in like the middle of your head, and then you move counterclockwise in a spiral going out to the edge of your body. Then you move down a band, and then you go clockwise into the center. And of course, when you get down into this area, you're going into the spine, and so you're spiraling into the spine, spiraling out, and then you go down the legs, but there's a sense of that spine kind of continuing down through the legs, almost like a tail. So that's the basic meditation, and that's how I learned it, and through trial and error and uh, some struggle and conflict, I came up with a different version. Basically, it's not. I don't call it wouldn't call it sweeping anymore. It's not. What I call it is spiral sweeping. Okay, so I explained this strategy. Um, there are two other elements that I'm going to be adding in, and that is space and the absolute. And when I say the absolute, what I mean is is black. It's like pitch black. It's the void. It's the Buddhists call it shunyata. It's nothing, you know, and that is actually an element in this meditation. So there's five elements. There's sensation, there's pulse, there's respiration, there's space, and there's the absolute. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. So feel free to close your eyes, and I'm going to keep my eyes open just to kind of keep a sense of the visual going on here. But we're going to just move our attention into the top of our head, and right in the middle, and then we're going to just feel the sensation there. And when we feel the sensation, we're just going to start moving in a spiral, going counterclockwise out until we reach the periphery of our head. And then we're going to move down one band, maybe to about the eye level, and then we're going to move in with sensation into the center of the spine. And we're going to keep going down one band at a time in the middle of the the sense of a kind of an extended spine. We're going to move out in a spiral counterclockwise to the edge of our body, and then we're going to move down to, say, around our chin, and move in, and we're going to continue that down through our body. We're going to go, spiraling out and then spiraling in, and moving down and spiraling out, and we're moving down through our torso and then through the stomach, and then we get down to to our pelvic area. And if you're sitting in a chair like I am, now your legs are going out kind of in a different direction. So you basically follow that, and you're still moving spiral out with sensation to the edge, and then spiral in. And then you go down past the knees, you go through the knees and then down into the shins, and spiraling in and spiraling out, and spiraling in, spiraling out, all the way through your feet, right to your toes, right? And when you get there at the bottom, then what we're going to do is we're going to add pulse. Now, pulse is I call it, I refer to it as a subset of sensation. It's a kind of sensation, but it's a very particular kind of sensation. It's of course it's it's the blood that's pumping through our body, but we have blood vessels throughout our body, and we can feel that at any place. So now we're going to add, starting in the down at the toes, we're going to add pulse to that, and we're going to move spiral out to the edge. And so and the pulse is kind of it's a softer kind of sensation. It's kind of like the feminine version of the masculine sensation. Anyway, we're moving back in, and then we're moving up to our our ankles, and we're moving out. Still, we're going spiraling out, and then we're spiraling in and spiraling out. And and there's different ways you can kind of be looking at this spiral moving through your body, and don't worry that if there's a right way to do it. Just do it the way that comes naturally to you. And so we're spiraling out and spiraling in with the sense of sensation and and pulse. Spiraling in and spiraling out. We get up to our pelvis, and we're spiraling out and spiraling in. And if you feel yourself breathing, just focus on the sensation and pulse. We'll get to that in a minute. We get up to the throat, and we're spiraling out, and we're spiraling in. We go out up to the middle of the head, and spiraling out and spiraling in, and up to the top of the head, spiraling out and spiraling in. So now when we're up, now we're going to add another element. We're going to add respiration, breathing, right? And the breathing, I find it adds an element of control and focus. Um, so we don't want to dominate sensation and pulse with the breathing. We want them to mix together and be like a balance. It's like a balance. It's like a really rich cocktail of body cycles, but it's focused. It's focused. You are focused. You've brought the three things into focus. So we're going to start from the middle, and we're going to breathe out, and then there's not really a sense of like breathing out and breathing in. I mean that if that's what comes naturally to you, do that, but you don't have to be as you're moving out in the spiral. You don't have to be breathing out. You can be just a natural cycle of breath as you're doing that. And then so we're moving down through our necks again, and and now in the shoulders and the chest, moving in and if you're like, whoa, this is way too fast for me, I understand that. I've been doing this a while, so just kind of follow along and know that you're going to have your a time where you can actually settle into this and do it at your own pace. But so we're down into the stomach and into the pelvis and spiraling out and spiraling in and into the knees and into the shins and through the ankles and down through the feet. All right, so now that we're at the feet again, so now what we're going to do, now this gets pretty trippy, because what we're going to do now is we're going to spiral out just like we've been doing counterclockwise, but we're going to go out past the perimeter of the body, right? And we're going to go out as far as we can go into space, and then move a band up, and then come in from that sense, kind of infinite space, and come back through all the space outside your body and into the center, that center point again, and come up a band. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're using the respiration and the sensation and the pulse. And just when you feel it just kind of get really kind of big and expansive, then just move up as a band and come in. And you might find that the bands are now getting kind of bigger. It's like your awareness is getting more bigger. I don't know how to describe it, a wider band. You might find that. Now we're coming in, right around the thighs, up to the pelvis, and just go out and feel the space, outside your body. Feel how your respiration and your sensation and your pulse, how you can feel the whole universe with what's going on, with the cycles that go on in your own body. And then come back in, around the waist, spiraling in clockwise. Into the chest, out through the throat, out into infinity. Really, we're just reaching as far as we can. Coming in to the head, into the center of the head. The pineal gland is right up there in the center of the head. And then right up to the top. Okay, so that's four sweeps. We got one more, and this one is what I call this element. I call it the absolute. And like I said, it's like blackness. It's nothingness. At the center of the universe, there is a black hole. It's that it everything in the universe came from that black hole, and that black hole. There's a saying in metaphysics, which is as above, so below. So that black hole is actually replicated through every piece of creation, including our bodies. You know, the bones. There's this sense of like a black hole hollowness in our bones, and even our cells and the atoms and the particles. So now we're going to start at the top of the head, and we're combining all five elements now: the breath and the and sensation and pulse, and we're moving out into space. And but we're moving with this sense of this black hole, this absolute, which is just beyond. It's beyond everything, and it's but we're actually um, we're actually riding that element. And you might see me kind of my body kind of like jolt. That's something that happens to me as I kind of expand into consciousness, is that it comes into my body, and I kind of jolt with that energy. So anyway, coming in around the head with that with all five elements, down into the neck, moving out, and then down to the shoulders and moving in. And there's a sense that I want to just impart to you, which is that we're not trying to change anything. We're just trying to experience what's happening through all this with these elements. And these elements, this mixture of elements, is always changing. It's always different. It's never really the same. So down by our pelvis now, coming in, and feel that black, see that blackness, you know, inside, and then move out into space, into the, you know, into the farthest regions of space, into the absolute, down through the legs, into the calves, down to the ankles, moving out as far as you can go, and then moving back through space, into the feet, and then just settle there in your toes with those five elements. Just breathe the sensation, the pulse, and the absolute. All right, so let's come back, and you can open your eyes now. And obviously, this is not something you want to do while you're driving or operating heavy equipment. You want to do this in a safe place. I often do it lying down. Um, so that's the that's the way you do it. And I you know, you're going to you've given me your email in order to learn this meditation. And what I would like to invite you to do is to comment, is to send me an email. You can send it to Christopher McCor, that's MACOR, @gmail.com. No dot, Christopher McCor @gmail.com. You can just send me an email and just say, hey, I tried the spiral sweeping, and such happened. You are my case study. You know, I'm gonna learn how this affects people by sharing this with you, and by you doing it and giving me your feedback. you probably, when you get done doing it, you probably want to drink some water for a while afterwards. Probably things will be kind of, moved around, and you want to just kind of keep things fluid. And if you feel kind of spacey, just kind of ground yourself. A good way to ground yourself is to put your mind in your dantian, which is that place that's 3 fingers below your navel and 3 fingers in. That's like the physical center of the body. If you feel spacey at all, it's a good, just put your mind down there and you can just breathe into that. So anyway, my name is Christopher McClure from Poise.us. Poise stands for Principles of Inner Shift Evolution. So you can find me online there. And I'll be getting some Facebook and YouTube presence also. Yeah, please try this out and let me know how it works for you. Thanks so much.